Well, tonight sees Zverev enter this Rod Laver Arena as a contender and emerge as a champion, just as Sinner did last year. Back in the semi-finals of the Australian Open.
Zverev is looking very sharp.
Can you believe it? Zverev through to his first ever Australian Open final. Is this the year to win his maiden major? A second semi-final here in Australia for the defending champion.
Sensational from Sinner. It'll be a third major final. He maximized the moments today and found a way to win like all great champions do.
It's time for the men's singles final. Please welcome to Rod Laver Arena, from Germany, Alexander Zverev. And their opponent, the reigning Australian Open champion, from Italy, Jannik Sinner.
Sinner, who won his first major on his 17th attempt, exactly the same as the great Roger Federer managed to do, and it had been upwards and onwards ever since for the Italian. The world #1, the lighthouse for men's tennis, and he has carried the mantle very comfortably. Delighted to say John Fitzgerald going to be alongside me for tonight. A huge night here in Melbourne. Fitzy.
Gee, bigger than that for me. My heart is pounding right now, as it does most years here, but this has something special. #1, #2 mark. We have a lot to look forward to here.
Oscar. Gentlemen, after the coin toss, there's going to be a picture with Oscar behind, please, and just the two of you, all right? So I call the net myself, 25 seconds between points. You know where the clocks are. I call the score, I start the clock. You know, on this court, we have video review. You can challenge no tap, fall shot, going through the net, okay? You cannot challenge when the serve hit the net, foot fault, time violation, and cut violation, all right? Do you have any questions? No? Sasha, is going to be your choice. We have John Newcomb or AO?
AO, please.
AO. AO.
I receive.
You receive? Stay. Picture behind.
Yannick stepping in behind the trophy that he won last year.
Perfect.
Named after Sir Norman Brooks, the wizard, the original Rod Laver. Born here actually in St Kilda in Melbourne was Sir Norman Brooks, and the first left-hander and non-Brit to win Wimbledon in 1907. This tournament, like all the majors, dripping in history and tradition. And history is what Zverev wants to write for himself tonight here in Melbourne. It's been a good route through for Sasha. At times it has been a long, scenic, arduous route through these majors, but this one has been pretty swift. Ranked #2. It was he and Sinner at the top in terms of match wins last year for the German semi-finalist in 2020. Last year, of course, it was another heartbreak for him out on this court in the semis, 2-0. He led Medvedev, couldn't quite get through to this championship match. As for Jannik, he has had some trials and tribulations on his route through back to the championship match. 18 titles already for the young Italian. And there you see his progression. First round quarterfinal, fourth round in 2023. Champion last year, and of course guided so superbly to that championship by his team. Simone Vugnosi and Darren Cain, who I believe Darren is waiting for us courtside. Darren, obviously it's been a very, very interesting route through here for Jannik. Some physical struggles. How close is he to 100% for what could be a long evening out there with Sasha?
Yeah, I think he's pretty close. He's felt really good the last 4 or 5 days. Obviously against Ben, it was an incredible physical first couple of hours, and both guys struggled physically, but he's recovered well. We had a normal practice yesterday. He had a lot of energy today, so he's looking forward to this. It should be a great match.
Darren, what is it about the matchup here with these two, the styles of play, that gives you a feeling that this is going to be a long battle and a close one?
Yeah, it's the serve and the backhand for Sasha, maybe two of the best in the world, and obviously he's won a lot of matches. He's incredibly confident, and so we keep talking about Jannik has to do something a little bit different. Simone and I have been around for the last 2 matches. The one in New York, which was a 5-set marathon, and that was a brutal night, really humid conditions in New York. And then, of course, the one last year, again, a really tough 7-6 in the third. So there's only 1 or 2 points that separates these two guys. But for Jannik, it's just making sure he mixes in a little bit of different stuff to what he normally likes to do. And that's coming to the net a little bit more, playing a few drop shots. Just being a bit creative, I think, we hope, might separate him and get him to the title.
And Darren as well, obviously slightly different here for Sasha tonight. He's playing with a different racket. Have you noticed anything different in his game because of that change?
He's always good to me. I haven't noticed anything in particular, but look, he's confident, he's playing well. He was unlucky last year in the semis against Medvedev. He's close. We just don't want him to be too close tonight, but we have a hell of a lot of respect for Sasha.
And finally, quickly, how different has it been for Jannik in terms of his demeanor, having won a couple of majors and having won here last year prior to this final, Darren?
Now, he's got enormous belief now.
Darren, thanks very much for your time. Good luck tonight.
Good luck, Killer.
It's been phenomenal watching you once again with another player take them right to the penthouse of the rankings. Hire Darren Cahill, you'll be world #1.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's it. He's done it 4 times.
Incredible. Let's take a little look through this route. Puy in the opening round for him, Martinez in the second. They were some nice, quick, clean kills. Jacob Fernie gave him a little bit of a battle in the third round. It's been wonderful to see the Brit come through. Hugo Humbert finally managing to wrestle a set off Sasha, but I think he's 28-0 recently against left-handers, is he? And that was pretty much it. And then, of course, we had the abrupt end to the semi-final with Novak, which would have been good for him for Sunday, not so great for those fans on Friday.
Gee, it works in his favour, that, though, doesn't it? Because he's rested because of that. That can have an influence.
This is Jannik's route through. Skulkate gave him a little bit of a scare by taking that opening set. Holger Rune, of course, in the heat and humidity of Melbourne. That was a real struggle at the start of the third set when we saw the shakes for Jannik, and when everyone wondering whether he was potentially going to get through. But boy, oh boy, did he hit the ground running against Alex de Minaur in the next round. And then, as Darren touched on, a very different sort of match against Ben Shelton. Was down set points in that opening set. Ben perhaps will have regretted not bringing the heat out on one of those 2 points with the serve. But once he turned around that deficit, he never really looked back, and he was always going to be firm favourite to get himself through to a second final here in Melbourne. In the glorious city of Melbourne that every year plays host to the first major of the year. This is the final shot and the final weather conditions. It is an absolutely ideal 22 degrees. The 2 best players on the planet in one of the greatest stadiums in the world. All the ingredients we need for an incredible evening.
First set.
It's history or heartbreak time for Jannik Sinner and Alexander Zverev. The men's final of the Australian Open 2025.
Black.